Best piece of advice for someone looking to get their first laundromat, I would say find all the local stores in your area within like a 10 or 20 minute drive. Go into those stores and just try and create a friendship with the seller. If there's no one in there working, maybe there's a phone number on the wall somewhere. Just touch base with them, make a touch point, and also familiarize with the store. Like, dude, when I first walked into that store, the first store, I was like, I didn't know what was a washer and what was a dryer. And that sounds crazy to me now, but like, that's the reality. Like,
I was answering the phone for a year and a half, and I couldn't take one more phone call. Like I was on the verge of becoming mean, and but I always thought, because I'm such a hard worker, I'm like, no, it needs to be a real person. It needs to be someone who cares, that answers the phone. Like I don't really like talking to, a robot, any of these recordings. And we made the jump, and we have AI answer our phone now, and it's been the best decision ever. So.
Is there anything you feel like, hey, we're doing this at our stores and it's working, and if you're not doing this at your store, you should be, or you should at least try it? Anything like that you feel like, hey, this could be a win for you in your business?
Yeah, I think that you need to have...
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan with the Laundromat Resource Podcast. This is show 226, and I am pumped you're here today because today we're going to talk about how you can grow from up to 4 stores in 2 years. Justin Eaton and Ashley are on the show to show you exactly how they did it. This one's super informative. They are super open with sharing exactly how they did, exactly what they did. And listen, if you're out there trying to grow your portfolio, this one is the one for you. If you have aspirations of owning multiple laundromats, this is the one for you. So let's jump into it with Justin and Ashley. Justin and Ashley, thank you for coming on the show. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Thanks for having us.
yeah, man, we're excited. It's been a long time coming. We've been watching your show for a while, and it's cool to finally be on, man. Looking forward to it.
Oh, you know what's funny is I've been watching your guys' stuff popping up all over my feeds everywhere, which real quick, we're right here in the beginning. I just brought it up. Can you tell us, you guys got some really good content. What I like about your content is you're posting a lot of like specific stuff people really want to know, like how much money is your stuff making, where, new customers versus old customers, like all these cool details in some of your content. Where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, so our store, the 3 stores we branded as My Friends Laundromat. So Instagram, it's My Friends Laundromat, and then our personal Instagrams we're building out as well. The laundromat brand mine's Justin __ Eaton. Hers is at @ashgriff _. We just got married a month ago, so eventually she'll change her Instagram name, maybe not, but for now, those are the places you can find us. Also on TikTok, we're at Laundrofriends.
Awesome. Love it. All right. We'll have links to all that stuff too in the show notes. If you're on YouTube, they'll be down below. Make sure you give those guys a follow, subscribe, whatever you do on whatever platform, do that on all the platforms. Cause a lot of really good stuff on there, really practical, and insightful stuff. So you want to get the real scoop on what it's like to own a laundromat, you got to follow these guys. Okay, cool. Hey, let's rewind it a little bit and tell us a little bit about you guys and like, how did you, you guys are young, you're hip, you're cool. That's not how we roll over here in the laundromat industry. We like to be old and stodgy. And so how'd you guys get in this business with all those old timers?
Yeah, so I have a handful of rental properties, and when me and Ashley got together, she was managing our rentals. We were still buying more rentals, and it got to the point where the deals weren't making sense from a cash flow perspective. We're putting out 20% down, 30% down on these real estate, duplexes and small commercial buildings, and we're making $500, $600, $700 a month on those, and we started to explore some alternative avenues to really increase our monthly cash flow. So 2021, as most people saw, Cody Sanchez popped up on my Instagram feed and was just talking about laundromats every day. Laundromat, car wash, laundromat. So I was like, all right, there's something here. She sounds smart. So that was 2021. I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on Facebook and found a local distributor in my area that sells equipment. And so, I contacted him, and me and him kind of stayed in touch for about a year and a half before that first deal came up. We were kind of half serious about it. We weren't actively looking for deals during that whole time, but when he did bring us that deal, it kind of checked all the boxes for us. And so we went for it. And that was October of 2023 when we closed on that first deal.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. And I was definitely very, nervous about it. I knew we could do the rental. So at least we had that experience with that business. And I was like, okay, we can manage it. We can make that work. But this was just something that we've obviously never have done before. And I remember going to the first time to the store and opening the door and just looking at this thing. And we're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because I don't know, you go and watch your content, you guys are pros, you're running your stores, really well, and you guys are doing well in your stores. And, it can be difficult for people when they are trying to get into their first one to say, well, these guys got it figured out. They know how to do it. But, I remember my first store, I was scared. I've told the story before, but I got a picture of my wife and I were holding the keys up with the laundromat in the background. It's all dumpy. Half the lights are out, wood panels mismatching on the walls. And I was scared to death. I had no idea what to do. So, this is a figure outable business, right? I am curious. So I like investing in real estate too, but I had, similar experience where I'm oh man, there's a lot of benefits to investing in real estate. Still a huge fan of it. But when it comes to cash flow, in my mind, the average real estate deal can't touch the average laundromat deal. But I'm curious, how do you feel about real estate versus laundromats? Are you still fans of real estate investing? Are you all in on laundromats? Kind of where are you at with those?
As far as the industry goes, I also have my real estate license. So I feel real estate and laundromats are both, like you said, it's all old school. No one wants to innovate it. And I just found that fascinating that, both of these things that we kind of got into just needed a total revamp technology wise and everything. So.
Yeah, I would say we'll always buy real estate. I love real estate, and real estate has great long-term benefits. You get the tax benefits. The tenants are paying down the debt. The property value is going up, just historically based on appreciation. So I think if you can combine the two, use your, put some of your cash flow away that you're making from the laundromats, buy real estate maybe less often than you would otherwise, but still pair that, real estate, investing with laundromats, and you can really hit that long-term wealth benefit that comes with owning real estate. And then you can, take the cash flow from the laundromats and kind of hit both aspects of it.
Yeah.
And if you can buy, real estate, a laundromat with real estate, which we did on our fourth store here, and we can talk about that as well. But that was kind of a home run deal, and we obviously were hitting both kind of aspects with that.
Yeah. And I also really like more commercial real estate versus residential real estate. And I always say, from managing tenants in residential real estate, I'll take a laundromat customer over a long-term tenant any day. So
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, and that's interesting too, because that you say that. I'm working on 2 commercial buildings right now, trying to get those under contract. But I think commercial real estate investing is not the common one, right? People either talk about single family, rentals, or apartment complexes, which, are, I guess, technically commercial. But it's interesting that you are, talking about commercial, because it doesn't get brought up quite as much as the other asset classes. Just out of curiosity, what do you like out of commercial?
So I love that our one commercial building that we have, it's basically all offices, and they're all professionals. They all have their own businesses. So you're really working, your tenants are also business owners. So it's just totally different versus, someone who's just renting as their home.
Yeah. Yeah. Out of curiosity, how'd you learn about commercial real estate?
Put a deal under contract and figured it out as we went.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Learn by doing.
How did I find that deal? It was on LoopNet, and then it was on there for 2 years, and I happened to know the broker who had the listing, and I was like, what's up with this? It's a professional office building that was not touched since 1985. The people who occupied it were people that owned the business, and they were selling it because they were closing their law firm. And so I reached out to the broker just on a whim. I was like, I saw this deal's been on the market for 2 years. It was way overpriced. And I met him out there, and he's like, here, listen, here's the price. This is what they're willing to take. And it was $150K less than the list price. And I was like, I'll sign the paperwork tonight if you can get it done fast enough, because it was just such a great deal. And that was our first commercial property. And then we bought two or three more on that street. It's like a small downtown area and like a B+ area that has a lot of runway for development. And the two others are mixed use, like up and down, like upstairs an apartment, downstairs is commercial. So we felt really good about that specific area long term as well. So, and the property values there are, like the residential space, are $600 to $1 million now. So it's been great. We bought that property in 2021. So
yeah, but that was after, it was after COVID, and everyone was like, oh no, like everyone's going to be working from home. Like your
office space is dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and
we got in then.
Yeah, and it was like one of those buildings where like you could kind of parcel out like sections of it, which is kind of how we did it. We have 4 different tenants in there that take up different offices. So it's perfect. We love that property and project.
Yeah, but then we had just had a child, and we were like, you cannot work with a child. You need an office space. So I was like, I think it's going to be, it's going to be necessary. So
yeah. Yeah, well, and kudos to you guys. I mean, that's hard to do, right? Of like you're buying when other people are selling, and you're buying when people are saying, "Oh, that whole asset class is basically dead." Like that's what people were saying. 2020, 2021 was like office space is done. Everybody's working from home from now on, right? And we've now seen that that's not really the case. Most jobs, I think, have gone back to the office by now. So interesting. Well, I wanted to kind of go down that little rabbit trail because little known fact, I'm a commercial real estate agent in California, which I don't really talk about a lot, but I really like commercial real estate. So I'm always interested in what people have. So, okay. So let's go back to that first laundromat deal. Where did that come from? Talk us through the process of like finding it and getting it under contract and buying it. I know a lot of people are like, I can't find deals right now. So how'd you guys find a deal and put that thing under contract?
Yeah. So like I said, after I found out that laundromats were a business that you could buy and own, I contacted this broker who I found on a Facebook forum, or not a broker, I'm sorry, a machine distributor who I found on a Facebook forum. He's one of the sales guys is the contact that I had, and he essentially drives around the area and stops in stores all day, every day. So he usually knows the owner. Mm-hmm. So he happened to come across this deal that was in like 5 minutes from our house. One of those, typical zombie mats like you were just talking about yours. The lights were flickering, the paneling, half the machines were out. He brought me the deal. They were asking $40,000. We offered 25 and they took it. We knew that we kind of couldn't lose just because the environmental impact fees and like the sewer tap fees around us, if you're starting from scratch, are like $5,000 to $7,000 per washing machine. Mm-hmm. And so for us to buy that store and, get that fee grandfathered in, we knew that worst case scenario, if we had to sell the store for the cost that, we were into it for, we would have no problem doing that. Obviously, it all worked out for the best, but that was kind of how we got into that first one. Yeah,
I think it's always important too I know we met with him personally, the owner, and for him to see you in person and like, no, we're a couple, we have a young child, like we're trying to do this business. I think it goes a long way to have that personal.
Yeah, with the seller, it wasn't like some, he didn't have some, professional people come in trying to buy it. Like we went there with our son. I think he had his grandkids there the first day we met him. Yeah. Older guy was just tired and ready to let go. So it really worked out kind of for both of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that is like in like the age of like AI and automation and all that stuff, like and this is true in real estate too, right? It's like, this is still a people business, right? And if you can put some FaceTime in with the owner, if you can make a connection like that, you got the grandkid connection, you got, maybe you guys reminded him of when he was younger or, those kinds of things. And like that stuff makes a real difference. And not only, I know this was like a relatively small deal and, I don't want to like pretend like $25,000 is a small amount of money. For most people, it's a lot of money. But relatively for laundromats, it's a small deal. And, But even on larger deals, like you'd be surprised if you make that connection with people. A lot of times you can win out over all cash deals or higher bids. I see that happen a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So, go ahead. Yeah.
Part of my not networking, but like, we're always looking to buy more deals. And so there's this one store that's right down the street from our commercial properties. And same exact thing, what you're talking about. I went in there the first time. Actually, I texted him the first time and he's like, I don't know who you are. I'm not looking to sell my business. I love what I do. And that was like 6 months before I first went in there and talked to him, and he didn't know it was even me who had texted him. Like, so he didn't put that together. But I just went in there. I was like, hey, like I'm Justin. I'm doing a development project at that time right across the street. I was putting we had bought a one-story commercial building. We got approved for a second-story apartment. So I was doing that project, and it was right across the street from that laundromat. And I popped in, and I was like, hey, I'm Justin. I was like, I'm doing this project across the street. He's like, yeah, I've been watching it. And I was like, oh, we also own, I think at that time we just had the one laundromat. So we also own a laundromat in Voorhees. And like, I never said like, hey, like, you're looking to sell. I just created the relationship more so with him. Like, I'm a laundromat owner myself, like kind of shot the stuff with him a little bit and talk business. And then I was like, yeah, just listen, if you're ever interested to sell like down the road, definitely keep me in mind. If you need help with anything, I'm usually in the area. Just more so created like a friendship with him. And then he was a big sports fan. We're big sports fans, and like Eagles were getting ready to play in the championship game. So we were talking about that. And then like, I just know from all that, when he goes to sell that store, I'm going to be the first person that he calls.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say with the first store that we bought, that the guy, he said that he's like, hey, I've gotten other, offers since you have put it in, but I want to stick with you guys. So.
Yeah. Yeah, huge. And I mean, that's your hack. Like if you're out there trying to find your first deal, and we'll get there, but, and I think you guys have seen this. I definitely have seen this, and I've seen this happen a whole bunch, but once you get that first one under your belt, subsequent ones become easier to find, at least. Maybe not get, depending on the situation, but you can at least find them. They come to you easier. Yep. But yeah, if you're looking for a hack, if you're looking for a secret, there's no silver bullet necessarily, but if there was one, it's probably putting in FaceTime with people, which obviously is more work, more time, more effort, but if you're looking for that deal, that's the way to get it. Okay. So it sounds like this deal, it was like a zombie mat, needed work. What did you guys do to it? Did you run it as is? A lot of people, I'm kind of surprised. I'm curious what you guys think. I'm kind of surprised. Most people are like, run it as it is for a little while and then figure out what changes to make and make it. So did you guys do that, or did you make changes right away? How'd you approach it?
We closed the store the first day. Like we closed on it and then we closed the store itself.
Yep.
Okay.
We pretty much did a full retool. We gutted the store all the way down, got rid of all the old machines, updated all the mechanicals, full cosmetic upgrade. And then we put brand new machines in, card system, automated as many things as we could, camera system. We had LaundryWorks on all of our stores. We put mag locks on the doors. So we shut it down day one, jumped directly into the renovation. We didn't think it was worth keeping, just because of the condition it was in. And like, half the machines didn't work. We were in there and customers were, having issues. So we didn't want it to be a headache from day one. So we're like, let's just close it down, jump right into it. We come from experience in real estate where we've done development projects and rehab projects before that I GC myself. So we just kind of ran that same play and like learned a little bit as we went in terms of like, the differences for laundromats. Obviously there's a lot of mechanical changes that had to be made to upgrade from old to new machines. But yeah, we took it on right away.
Yep.
You remember how long that took, or how long you were shut down?
Yeah, we bought the store October like 13th or something, and then we reopened in February 12th. So was that 4 months? Yeah, for about 4 months. And there was a couple small hiccups we had that, knowing what we know now, I think probably we could have got it done in half that time. But again, that was the first one. We were learning as we went.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was 4 months from close to reopen, which I think was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, talk to us about like the reopening. Did you do anything special for it? Did you do like a grand reopening, or did you just kind of fling the doors open? How did you, one of the fears when people like retool and invest reinvest money back into the businesses. Am I going to recoup that money? Are people going to come? Is it going to be worth it? Or am I going to lose money? Were you guys feeling like that? And what did you do, when you kind of reopened?
We just propped the door open with a big Tide detergent thing. No, we did a soft opening, and then I think within a week or two we had a grand opening party where it was like mostly friends and family, and then we had like pizza and refreshments and stuff, and then obviously there was like some customers that we talked to in between that time that we invited.
We were like, I think we relied a lot on our Google business profile. And I think we made an event on that to let people know, that we were having this party. And we also did some raffles. We raffled off like a TV and some laundry products. So that was really cool.
Yeah, we did a ribbon cutting ceremony with the town. Mm-hmm. We had like Chamber of Commerce or whatever. We signed up for that. And then the mayor came out.
Yeah.
So we did all that cool stuff.
We did a direct mail campaign as well to let people know when we were going to be opening. So that was like very interesting to go through that whole thing. My best friend, she actually is in marketing and she helped us out with all of that. So that was awesome to be able to work with her through all of that too.
Yeah. Okay. So you did all this renovations, new equipment, rehabbing the place, all that. You do a soft opening, you do a grand opening. How was the response? I mean, did people show up? Was it, were you feeling good about it, or how did it go?
Well, I'll never forget the first day when it was like our soft opening and we were watching the cameras, and I think, so we open at 6 a.m. every day. And I think this guy came in, I want to say very early, like I think it was like 6:30 or 7. And at that time we were going to the store and unlocking and, opening the doors ourselves. And we would like watched him on the camera and he was at the kiosk and we were like, oh my God, like we have a customer. So I'll never forget that moment.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it worked. Like one person came to the store and spent $10.
Yeah.
But no, I think the community loved it. It took time for it to ramp up, obviously. Mm-hmm. But once the word got out, like, we were pulling a lot of customers from these other 2 stores that were local.
Yeah.
And I would say it was pretty positive. I think, we probably broke even like within 2 or 3 months, and then we were turning a profit by month 4.
Yeah, we were cleaning the store ourselves, I think for the first 6 months, yeah. Which is crazy. And that, definitely allowed us to make a profit faster. With our newer stores, we have cleaners right away. So I think that does impact, making a profit a little bit later. But yeah, since we opened that first day, we've never not had not one person come in our store. So I'll take that as a win.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a huge win. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it was Lloyd who was on the podcast, and he said like the first day or two, 0 people came to his store.
Oh no.
Talk about like after retooling and everything, talk about like a gut punch, feeling awful. That's
but we were still super nervous. I know I was very nervous about because I kind of related it to mortgage payments with our rentals. We had that equipment payment and it was, $4,000. And I was like, oh my God, like our mortgage isn't even this expensive. None of our rental properties is this expensive. Like how are we going to pay this? So I was super nervous about that.
Yeah. It looked like a big, chunk to have to pay every month. But we hit our projections, and even when our distributor, like our sales guy, was the one who gave us the initial pro forma, mm-hmm. and we understood, all right, he's selling this equipment and he's making money on this. How honest is he being about this pro forma, right? So we kept that in mind, and we were like, all right, listen, even if it does 75% of what he's projecting, it still makes more sense than a rental property. Yeah. So we took that risk. He projected it to do like $19,000 a month. This is all self-serve. We don't have any wash, dry, fold. And I remember telling people at the grand opening party, like my friends and stuff, that the store's projected to do like $19K a month in revenue. And in my mind, I'm like, man, just don't know how that would be possible.
Yeah.
And this month we're probably going to break 30,000 for the first time. So it's been crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Congrats. That's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have never thought, if you were to tell me, we were projected 19 and now we're about to hit 30, I was like, I would have never thought that. So,
yeah, it's still growing. We have the Laundromat, so we're able to see a lot of that data, and we're still seeing like 30% new customers come to the store even now on a month-to-month basis. So it's like, I don't know where all these people are coming from, but keep them coming.
Yeah, but we're the only like brand new store like in our area. So that's what people want. They want brand new and they want clean.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a great point. So, I mean, let me ask you guys this question, because I get asked this question all the time. And, you know, probably it depends is the correct answer, but I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts on it of, do I do partial retooling and fix certain machines, or do I do them all at once, even though it's going to be this, you know, make you want to throw up price tag, most likely, to do it all at once? What's your guys' take on that?
I would say, you know, it depends.
Yeah.
No, I think we've ripped them all out. Like, we do full rehabs on the first 3 we bought. The 4th one, we kept it as is until the end of the year. We just closed in June.
Yeah.
We're going to run it the way it is until the end of the year, then close it. And the only reason we did that was so we could get all of our permits lined up and just hit the ground running when the time comes. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to, you know, we're actually looking at a 5th store now that has has older Dexters that are in like the 10-year to 12-year-old range. And so that store, our plan would be to keep those machines, put the Laundromat card system in, rebrand it to our brand, and run it, you know, kind of with the same machines. So I would say it's case by case, but I would prefer, if I'm being picky, is to have like a complete zombie mat that I can get for cheap, run a full rehab on it, do everything brand new. You're not dealing with older machines where you're having more maintenance issues. Utilities are better now, obviously, with the new machines. It's kind of like the Burr method in real estate, you know, so the worse it is when you buy it, you know, the more upside there is when you go to do all that stuff. So if I could pick, every store would be a gut rehab from day one.
Yeah, like me being more on like the operations side, I want everything brand new. I want to be able to see everything in real time. And from a customer standpoint, you know, an older machine, I don't want to have to worry about that. I love how all of our machines are brand new, and I don't have to worry about maintenance issues so much. So
yeah. Justin, how do you feel about having a super lazy COO over here who doesn't want to deal?
My back's been killing me, man. It's tough over here.
Well, like they complain even though things are brand new, they'll still complain. So I'm like, you know, the less I can.
There's always something to be done, that's for sure. And you know, it's you know how it is, but
yeah. Well, and you know, I think one thing that's not talked about nearly enough is your return on headache, right? Like there's, you know, you get to a point, or at least I got to a point where you can only deal with so much, you know, so much coming at you from, especially you got 4 stores, you've got rental properties, you've got a 5-year-old, you know, there's a lot of demands coming at you, and you can only take so much. And that return on headache gets more and more important the more you have, right? The more assets you have, the more wealth you build. It becomes more and more important. You start to see why, you know, some of these like uber wealthy people are like, yeah, I'll just stick my money here where I can have a headache-free 5% return on my money. I could probably get more, but it's not worth my time anymore, right? And I'm not saying that I'm there. Maybe you guys are, but I'm not there yet. But it becomes more and more of a factor as you go. So I really don't think you're lazy. I was just kidding. So,
I know I'm not lazy either. So,
okay.
but I got that way with answering the phone. So at first I was answering the phone for a year and a half, and I couldn't take one more phone call. Like I was on the verge of becoming mean, you know, and but I always thought, you know, because I'm such a hard worker, I'm like, no, it needs to be a real person. It needs to be someone who cares, that answers the phone. Like I don't really like talking to, you know, a robot, any of these recordings. And we made the jump, and we have AI answer our phone now, and it's been the best decision ever. So. Yeah,
absolutely. But the return on headache, that's kind of how we review these stores. Is like, we want to make it as, you know, automated as possible to eliminate, you know, a lot of that headaches. And so having a brand new store and being able to put all these systems in place, cameras, mag locks, automatic timers on the lights, AI phone answering, like, you know, at that point it takes a lot of that, you know, remedial tasks off our plate. So
Yeah.
That's the only way that you know, if you're going to have multiple stores, like you really don't have a choice unless you just work all day, every day for 12 hours straight while the stores are open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you brought up the AI phone thing because, you know, I mean, I think it's something that's piquing the interest of a lot of people in our industry. You know, obviously if you've got like a pickup and delivery service, it's really intriguing because, you know, people can place orders with an AI agent on the phone and they just fall into your lap basically. But you guys are running just self-serve only, right?
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah. So I am curious about like, how is it helping? Is it answering people's questions and you're not having to deal with them? Is it dealing with problems? How is it helping?
Yeah, we actually had, a customer that was upset. It was last week, and I was so impressed with how the AI person actually handled the situation. And it was right when we were about to close. So it was like 10:30 at night. You know, I go to bed really early. Like I go to bed by like 9:30. So I was so happy I didn't, have to take that call. We do have like a customer service hours between 9 and 9, and no one really follows them. Like they'll still call anyway. But just the fact that I had all that information when they called, they told them they're going to let the owner know. And then we just followed up with them in the morning and, smoothed it over, and everything was great.
Yeah, I would say most things in the laundromat customers, nothing's like urgent to where it's like you have to attend to it like right now, unless there's like somebody in there causing trouble. But I would say, just not having to answer the phone for I don't want to say stupid questions, but a lot of them are like, oh, what time are you open? Well, do you have wash dry fold? There's stupid questions that if you just did looked on our Google page, like you would already know this. So like just not having to hear her phone ring when we're home together. For simple stuff like that is like, that makes all the difference. And then when there's things that need to be attended to, like we get emails right away. We use Bella from Rick Rome, his program. I actually found out about that from your podcast, so shout out to Rick Rome on that. It's been good so far. We're just still training the brain there of Bella for our store specifically, but she does like take initiative and like ask certain questions and answer things in ways that like it seems like a human would, because some of these things she's asking, we didn't train it that way. It's like intuitively it just does it, which is kind of crazy. So it's been good, man. Really successful for that so far. Yeah,
and I love how it also will give you like a summary at the end of the week, and give you like suggestions, like hey, people keep calling about wash dry fold. Like, is that clearly like noted on your website and everything? And I'm like, yeah, it is. But everyone just always but it's also nice to know that if we did ever want to do a wash dry fold, there's so much demand for it in that area. So
return on headache. It's not there yet.
Yeah.
Return on headache, man. I love it.
I'm stealing that. I've heard that before.
Yeah, it can get like tempting, right? To like add more things and obviously sometimes there's lots of times there's a reason to go after it, go get that business, go do the pickup and delivery, go do the drop off. Obviously that there's a lot of upside to that part of the business, but it depends on kind of what you're looking for. And it can get tempting to pull you away from your focus. Yeah. It's one of the things I think the Williford brothers does really well. They're self-serve only. They don't offer wash and fold. They don't do pickup and delivery. They just have a bazillion stores, and that's just, that's our lane. We're going to stay in it. And that focus, can bring you a lot of success, I think.
Yep, that's where we're really leaning towards. Like there's actually a space that opened up right next to ours first laundromat, and we're like, oh my gosh, we could put more machines in there. We could start the wash dry fold, and then
pick up and delivery.
Then we're like, do we really want to do that?
And then we're talking to other operators that have it. They're like,
they've all shut theirs down.
They're like, it's not worth it. Like, if your self-service doing good and like, you're not looking for additional headache, like it's not even worth it. Like, especially if you're growing other stores, like you said, with the Williford brothers, like that's kind of the model that we see ourselves going after as well. So, I don't think you can have like multiple stores and have wash dry fold tacked on to each one unless you have like a full-time manager operator that, that's at that store. And we really don't see that model for us, at least not right now.
Yeah. And I love with, our machines, everything you can get done in under an hour. So people, they can come in and come out, and time is everything. So I just love that they're able to get in and out so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And, just contrast it, like Dave, Laundromat Millionaire Men's, right? Like he went the other way. He started accumulating stores. I think he got to like 4 or 5. And then he's like, well, we already have these stores. Can we just squeeze more juice out of them? So he went the other way and he built a big pickup and delivery business, right? But he's got a full-time manager and, it's a different business model. And that's one of the like things that's beautiful about this super simple, quote unquote, boring business, right? Is there's a lot of ways you can run your business in this industry. And it's kind of surprising. I think that was like my biggest surprise early on doing the podcast, is talking to 10 different owners and expecting kind of similar stuff. And some of them being like wildly different, like 10 different ways to run your business. So it's pretty cool. You can set it up to run it how you want, like how you want to design your life. Sounds like that's what you're doing.
Yeah, totally. I think real estate is kind of the same way. Like I have a local real estate meetup group, and like every person you talk to, even if they're all doing flips, they all do something different.
Yeah.
Financing, construction, GC, like it's kind of the same thing with the laundromats. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But I love that there is that possibility of doing, wash, dry, fold if we ever wanted to. I love that. I love possibilities. But I really do. And now we don't even have any employees at our stores. We basically work with like a third party cleaning company and they run their whole crew. So I love that as well, that we don't have any employees really either.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because I do think that there's like this like fork in the road that's happening in our industry where you've got like, the model you're doing where it's like streamlined, a lot of automation, leveraging a lot of technology and tools, still high on the customer service, but just, more streamlined, more automated. And then you've got operations like Dave's where it's more like full service laundry center. We do everything. Bring your dry cleaning. We'll go pick everything up for you. We've got, I don't know, he's got a bunch of employees out there, right? So it's this interesting sort of like divide that's happening because we're seeing a lot of both of these models and having a lot of success with them, which is really just fascinating to watch right now. Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you guys snagged this thing. It sounds like pretty quickly it was profitable, or at least break even, and then sounds like it zoomed right through break even to profitable within a month or two. You guys have 4 locations right now? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, didn't you say you bought that first one in 23?
Yeah, we did.
Actually, I think I just saw like your 2-year anniversary was like 4 days ago or 5 days ago from when we're recording this, right?
From when we bought it. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, from when you bought it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 locations in 2 years? Is that? Go ahead.
Well, the funny thing is that at the beginning of this year, we always like to set goals, for the year. And we're like, this is going to be our stabilization year. We're just going to, we're going to.
Last words.
Yeah. And then, the complete opposite. So I think that's just our personalities. Like, I think we just like having things to do. Him more so.
Well, I also think like these deals I didn't expect to come up and they were too good to turn down. So we took the deals and we ran with it. But yeah, that second deal came up. The landlord for that first store, he owns a bunch of shopping centers. And so once he saw what we did with that store and how nice we did, he's like, hey, I'm getting ready to evict this laundromat operator in this other store. He's not paying rent. And he's been there for years and the store looks like crap. Why don't you go take a look at it? Yeah. Took us about 4 months to commit on that just because it was a little bit farther away from our house. So we talked to some of our friends who came on as operations partners who lived over there. Put that deal together. That was a huge project. The third store came from our machine distributor that we got that store for free. Actually, the landlord just wanted someone to sign a lease. And the fourth store came through one of those partners that we had on the other store. So yeah, things snowballed quick. Mm-hmm. I would rather these deals be spread out a little bit just to kind of take some of the mental, free up some mental space for me and everyone. But you can't pick and choose when these deals come. Like, if we would have turned these down and then, I'm out here like looking for a deal and I can't find one. So that's the way I see it. And, these opportunities, you have to jump on these opportunities when they come up. And like I said, these deals were all like home run deals. You really couldn't miss.
Yeah.
And we kind of solidified the blueprint and the model with that first store, and that store was pumping. So we were like, the numbers are good. Let's run it up and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And from marketing wise, we basically just kept doing the same thing every single time. And so lucky to have my best friend who helped us out with that, because she knew the drill too. So it was just like, all right, let's just keep doing it the same.
Plug and play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it really is. It really can be like that, right? Once you find the model, you can sort of copy paste it. Obviously, there's like nuances at different locations. Sometimes demographics are a little bit different, and so there's some things you can't just set it totally on autopilot. But there's a whole lot that's transferable, more like principle based as opposed to like tactical based that you can do. Which we talked about how like. Once you own, and I've said this a lot of times before, but like once you own that first one, like deals come easier for you. They come to you a little bit more. You find them a little easier. People who, I work with clients a lot who are, they want to buy a laundromat. They've never owned one, and a landlord will be like, I'm only going to prove somebody who owns one, right? And so a lot of these doors, not just with deals, but also financing, can open up once you get one under your belt. So sometimes just like get that first one under your belt, learn the business, figure out the blueprint. And then like, if you want, you could do 4 stores in 2 years. I don't know if you should want to or not. Maybe I'll ask you that question, but
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say like the branding and stuff has been all the same. So like to not have to think about, what color are we going to paint the walls? Like, what are we going to do over here? Like, what signs are we going to put in the store?
Oh my gosh, the signage in the store.
The signage, yeah. The window graphics, like not having to think about any of that now, like makes it so much easier. It's like, all right, everyone knows what's going on. This is the name, this is the branding, this is the color, the paint.
These are the vendors. These are the cheapest to print, the people who do our graphics. Like we have all of that. Which is so
machine distributor knows the drill. He goes in there, comes up with the layout, sends me the, invoice. I negotiate the price down. and then, it's been relatively seamless. And this 4th store we're getting ready to shut down and redo is our biggest one yet. That's like $300,000 rehab inside, and then like $800,000 worth of equipment. So that one's going to be a beast. And, but I think we're super prepared based on, what we went through with these other stores. So we're looking forward to that.
And also I'm like, even with the second store, I was like, let's open. Like as soon as we are ready to open, let's open. Like the first one, I was like, everything has to be perfect before we open. Like, oh no, and now I'm just like, open the door now. Like tell them to come in.
Figure it out as we go. Some things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, what customers will tolerate, sometimes. I think I've told the story. I don't know if I have actually, but one time my first store that I had, which was like a nightmare, but it flooded. There was literally like 4 inches of water on the ground, and I didn't know. And somebody finally called me, and it had been like that for like 2 hours before I even found out. And I live like 45 minutes away. So by the time I got there, it was like 3 hours of flooding. And I get there and the store is like packed. People had their like shoes off and their pants rolled up or their skirts hiked up. And they're like doing laundry.
Honestly, I believe it.
Yeah, making it flood more because my larger machines were what was like backing up. And it was just spilling out. So every cycle was just dumping more water into the store.
Wow.
But they just kept on
keeping
going, and people
going.
kind of help me push water out of the store. I don't know, man. They'll just tolerate a lot. I mean, obviously that's not a good thing, but I was just like, what is happening right now? I would not be doing laundry here if it was me
our third
right
store
now.
Flooded like that, and someone called us and let us know. So it's nice that they called.
Well, I think that kind of lends itself to like the laundromat business. Like that's why a lot of these operators that are older just don't care, because they know that the customers are going to come in and do laundry no matter what. So it's like, why are they going to reinvest in their store when it's going to, they would make more if they reinvested, but they're like, I'll just run it into the ground and eventually I'll sell it for cheap or close it down. So it's like, they don't want to reinvest in their store, and that creates the opportunity for the younger generation to get in there and kind of change the culture of the laundromat ownership.
Yeah, our first store, like literally all the machines, like half of them weren't working. Like you walk in there, the lights are flickering, and people were still doing their laundry.
There was a guy sleeping in the back.
There was someone sleeping in the back. I was like,
but people were still coming in, and I'm like,
still using the machines.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and it really
it makes it so it's like easier, for someone who wants to do it the right way. You can really capture a lot of business, because most of the stores, if you find a store that's, even if you're close to other stores, if you can put out a better product, like it's going to take time, but these customers are going to find you and they're never going to stop going there.
Yep.
Yeah. And it really can be, depending on your market, obviously, and who's around, but it really can be pretty low hanging fruit in a lot of markets still to this day. It's changing, and it's changing at an increasing rate, I think, because there's more people like you guys coming in saying, oh, there's a boatload of money to be made here just by treating people right. Taking care of the basics.
Oh my gosh. That's what I say. Yeah. It's literally the basics. And same thing with cleaning. It's like, something in my mind, it's clean or it's not clean. Like I don't know how hard that is, but every laundromat I go into, I see like 20 things that I'm like, oh, this could be cleaned. You could have dusted that. You could have done that. And we're very detail oriented at our stores. And that's why we have so much success. So. Yeah.
Yeah. The devil is in the details there, and honestly, like one of the things I find hardest about running a laundromat, especially when I was doing a lot of the stuff, I know you were cleaning for like 6 months and stuff, is like that whole sort of like franchise experience, like the same experience every day, which means just finding that routine of keeping everything clean, keeping everything working, and then just over and over, keep that routine, keep that routine. And like when you're like an entrepreneur or like a visionary, like that kind of like that over and over on the operations is tough.
And then when you're not making money either and doing that, it's very tough.
It's tough.
But I was a waitress for 10 years, and it's interesting that same repetition of how I would greet every single one of my tables, it's how I greet every single one of my customers. So I have my spiel, like the same one that I would, obviously it's different from the waitress, but the same way I would approach that, I do it. Instead of the menu, I'm telling them, hey, this is how our store runs and how it works. And I found great success with that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's it been like getting 4 stores in 2 years? I mean, has it been easy because you have the blueprint and you're just copy pasting, or has it been overwhelming? Like, what's it been like?
I would say it's a little stressful. We get overwhelmed at times for sure when we're like trying to, especially when it comes down to like the finish line, when you're trying to get the store ready, like the punch list stuff seems to take the longest, and like getting everything ready to like open the store, going to the township. So like it always seems to be like leading up to the opening, and then like after that, the store kind of starts doing its thing. There's obviously times where it's stressful, but that's kind of what you sign up for as a business owner in general. Owning the 4 stores, the second store took a lot longer to kind of profit. Like now it's profitable, but it's been 9 months. It took us like 7 or 8 months to start breaking even, and now it's starting to make a profit. Mm-hmm. So like that was what she was saying, like to do this over and over for almost a whole year and not get paid. Like we haven't gotten paid. None of the partners have gotten paid from that store yet.
Yeah.
That's tough sometimes to swallow. But we obviously just keep the long term in mind. Like we know that store is going to do like, it's going to crush it once it's, up and like stabilized all the way.
Yeah.
So just kind of staying, grounded in that and knowing that the process like just has to play out. Is promising, but obviously day to day there's things that can come up and you get irritated, especially when you're dealing with partners and customers. Like there's things that definitely push your buttons, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No, but the second one is, compared to our first one, is in a way different area. So it's probably like a C-, D+ area, and our first store was in like a A-, B+ area. So it was just drastically
demographically
different. So, but I think, with everything going on, I think what put me to the top is our wedding.
Oh yeah, we got married.
It was like, let's do all of this and then also get married. And that's what put me over the edge. So I don't recommend that.
You can't pick when the deals come.
That's right. Even when it's your spouse.
We didn't even go on our honeymoon. We didn't even go on a honeymoon because we were opening stores and stuff. So
that sounds like a honeymoon to me. Oh man. Well, you guys need to take a little honeymoon and come out and hang out with me.
Definitely.
In Hawaii.
Let's do it.
Because I can't think of anything better to do. Not yet. I'm eyeballing them. I'm.
Of course.
There's a lot of like rundown laundromats on the island over here. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to come in and do things right.
Yeah.
It's just finding that deal. But I can't think of anything better for you guys to do on your honeymoon than hang out with me. So
actually, it's funny. We wanted to go to Hawaii for our honeymoon, but we don't have we were like, all right, we'll go for 10 days, but we don't have anyone that can watch our son for that long. So we put it off. We might try and do it next year as our 1 year anniversary, and plan it a little better to where we have full coverage. So. But yeah, we were talking about going to Hawaii. I actually wanted to go there during COVID, right before COVID hit. I was going to propose in Hawaii, and then COVID happened, and then obviously everything changed.
Well, instead of proposing, let's just buy some laundromats.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
No, I did both actually.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's funny. Every time we would refi, a property or something, I would always make the joke, we would get that refinance check and I would be like, oh, this is going to be my ring. And then we would buy another property or buy another laundromat. And I'm like, all right, am I ever going to get a ring?
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it is always worth the wait. The more you wait, the better it will be. So.
That's right. Well, and congrats, by the way, I know you're fresh off the wedding, so congrats on that. And
thank you.
If you want to bring your kid out here, I've got a couple kids that'll,
keep them busy,
surfing and
there you go.
At the beach, snorkeling for turtles, doing all that stuff. So,
yeah, hell yeah,
something to think about. Speaking of you two and power couple vibes that you guys give off here, it seems like you guys have a little bit different roles in the business. Can you talk about do you guys have distinct roles, or is it kind of we take care of business together? How do you have that set up?
Yeah, I'm more of the find the deals, analyze the deals, manage the projects, put together the acquisition plan, the remodel plan, structure all the equity, figure out how to finance it, who's putting money where, especially when you bring on partners. Like this fourth store we bought, we're doing a combination of seller financing, private capital, and then we're using Eastern funding for the equipment on that. There was a lot of moving parts, and structuring that whole thing was, a little stressful. But yeah, I basically I'm kind of the way I see it is I'm the visionary, and then, I kind of get everything up to the point, helping, finding the store, figuring out how everything is going to work, running the play. And then once it's up and running, Ashley kind of takes over most of the operations there. And then we have operations partners on the other stores as well, so they obviously help. Yeah. I'm not that much of a systems person. That's Ashley's thing is let's create systems. Let's figure out when the cleaners are coming, the cleaning schedule, keeping track of cleaning supplies, more of the daily tasks where that's not really my thing. I like the overall vision of it. And then the project management is kind of where I strive at.
Yeah. So when he's managing the renovation, I'm creating the email of the store. I'm setting up the utilities. I'm, getting everything organized as far as that goes, and doing a marketing plan and how are we going to market this. And then once we do get open, then I'm definitely there more in person than Justin is. So I like to go into our store, at least twice a week to check in on the store, talk to the customers. I'm very big on customer service, and making sure I manage our Google business. So, all the comments from our customers, I'm kind of overseeing all of that. And then with all of the stores, I oversee all of our emails in that regards of the customer service and the operation. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Have you guys read Traction by Gino Wickman?
Yeah.
No, I read it was Traction, yeah. But the Rocket Fuel one was
Rocket
the other
Fuel
one. I didn't
was the
read
one
that
I was thinking of. You should read. I mean, you guys are kind of living it, but you should read it. That's the first thing that came to mind when you guys were talking about your roles. It's you got the, in EOS, which is the Traction kind of entrepreneurial operating system. You've got the visionary and you've got the integrator, and you guys have both. That's the Rocket Fuel. That's of Rocket Fuel is having I think a lot of times entrepreneurs tend to be visionaries and they like finding the deal. This is like me, like to a T, right? Like finding the deals, like putting them together, trying to find out creative ways to structure it, making it work. I do that just as a hobby. That's like my probably number one hobby, right? Is like looking at deals and doing all that stuff, right? But then when it comes to, like I even said, like running the day to day and keeping things consistent over and over, it's like death sentence, right? But
yeah, dude, we're twins. We're basically twins when it comes down to that. I hate, not that I hate going to the store, but I'm like, I don't want to go there and like talk to people and look at the cleaning closet and see if the cleaners are doing their jobs and look at the lint trap, see if they cleaned it. Like I'd rather just look at new deals, So that's totally.
And I love all of that stuff. And I love making sure that, we're organized and everything is and set. And I'm on it with the emails. I'm talking to our vendors. So
God forbid the broom is hung in the wrong spot in the damn cleaning closet.
Yeah.
Somehow it's my fault. I get blamed for that, but I'll take it.
But it's so important to have someone on site at least twice a week, every single week, and building that customer relationship. Like everyone knows me in our stores. Everyone knows Ashley, and people ask about me all the time. And even in the reviews, they always mention my name, and I take pride in that. So.
Yeah, I would say as hands off as we make it seem, like we do go there voluntarily to like create that community and like, put a face behind the store and the brand. And that's super important. And that's a big part of why people come back as well, in addition to the, the store being what it is. So that's something I think a lot of people don't talk about, is that culture that you can build even with a self-serve store that's unattended. Like if you focus on it, spend some time there, if you go there on a Sunday for like an hour or two, you're going to talk to 20 or 30 different people possibly. So it's like, it doesn't take much to put that effort in. And I think that really can separate, operators as well. Yeah.
And from that, you get like 10 Google reviews, like, 10 5-star Google reviews. And that's what everyone I think looks at in our area. So.
Yeah. That's like money in your pocket. Yeah. But it's funny, Justin, appreciate what you got here, even though you do put the broom in the wrong spot. It is your fault. Because I didn't realize, it never even struck me that there's people like Ashley that like doing that stuff, right? I just thought everybody hated that. And I think most people who get started, you have to be that whole package. Like that's how it was for me, right? When I got started, I had to be the visionary and come up with the ideas and put the deal together and do all that. And then I had to go and like integrate it, put the plan in motion. And I felt like I was dying, doing that over and over for years. Right. And I didn't realize there were people. I remember when I hired my first admin to help me just with Laundromat Resource stuff. And I was like, I hired her and I was like, I'm behind on all this work. This is probably going to take you like a few weeks to like catch up on. And I was like apologetic. I'm like, really sorry to give this to you. And she did it in less than a day, all of it, and was like, loved it. And I was like, oh shoot. Like, wow. I had no idea. I had no idea. And it really is like the rocket fuel kind of concept there. So, it can be difficult, I think, to like work with somebody who's always bringing you deals instead of rings and, making you wait on your honeymoon because, of that. And it can be difficult with somebody who gets irritated because you put the broom in the wrong spot, or you're getting in the way of the operator. You're trying to help, but you're really like getting in the way of the system or whatever. But, man, if you can find ways to communicate and work together, like you guys are seeing it, you're living it, right? You got 4 laundromats, you got real estate empire building over there. You got a family you're building over there. Like, it's powerful. It's powerful.
Yeah, totally.
I always say I'd rather have assets over flowers any day. So
there you go.
Yeah. Maybe one day he'll buy you a flower shop and you can have both. You know what I mean?
There you go. There's an idea. Sell flowers out of the laundromat.
That's right. That's right.
We really do like work like so like yin and yang, and he is just nonstop and I am nonstop. So I couldn't imagine if, one person trying to do everything that we both do separately. So
yeah, there would be a lot of things that fall through the cracks, like the cleaning stuff. Like if she wasn't involved and it was just me, like there would be things that fall through the cracks, and like it might not seem like big things, but they would accumulate over time. And then, at that point, like you said, it gets to a point where you have a mess and somebody has to figure it out. So it's been a good combo for sure.
Yeah, and we definitely want to, document all of our systems and everything. Like that's the next thing I'm going to start working on. So then we can get a manager down the road, and I can just, hand them this playbook, and for all of our stores, we can have that playbook. So.
Yeah, that's money. And I'm sure AI can help a lot with that as well, as just as you're kind of going through stuff. And, it might be interesting is like getting have you seen those Plaud, Plaud, Plaud devices? It's like put on your phone or you wear it or whatever, and it records like what you're doing or conversations you're having, stuff like that. And it gives you like AI notes and stuff like that. But I was just thinking if you had something like that and you're just going about your day-to-day business, you're just sort of narrating like crazy talking to yourself, everybody thinks you're schizophrenic or something, but you're just kind of like narrating what you're doing all day. That stuff could just like lay it all out for you. Here's your SOPs on how to do everything that you're doing. And I don't know, it'd be interesting.
We're definitely going to have to look into that. I didn't know that was a thing. That sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so I feel like I have to ask this question because you guys, like I said, you guys are really relatively young, and you've talked about real estate. You've talked about getting 4 laundromats. Like, how are you buying all this stuff? How are you affording it? How are you financing it? How are you funding it? Because that's like probably the number one obstacle people have to taking the leap and buying their first business or real estate, property or whatever, is like how to actually pay for this thing. So how are you guys doing that?
So I started buying real estate, and I got involved with like flips in like 2014. And then I started buying rentals in 2017. I don't have a lot by any means. We have 5 properties, but I got that experience on how to structure, deals basically from doing this similar thing with real estate. And also, through that time, you're building equity and you're building a relationship with the banks. Like they can look at your history. Okay, he bought this property here, he stabilized it, got the rent. So you really become bankable from that perspective. My day-to-day, I own a small engineering company. And so like I have income from that, and I've been doing that for long enough to where they use that. It's not a W-2 because it's my own business, but they use that as, my W-2 income. That's the way they would look at it essentially. And so all those things kind of lead up to how we financed that first deal. We had a duplex that we had just sold by chance like a month before this deal came up. We bought it right after COVID, so we got it for cheap. It wasn't in the area that we wanted to have a rental in long term, so we decided to sell it. The market went way up. We walked with about $150,000 in cash from that deal. And then that laundromat came up. The first one that we bought for $25,000. So we paid cash to buy it plus closing costs. We paid cash to renovate it. And then we put a down payment, down on an equipment loan. So I think out of pocket, we were, around, it wasn't much different from what we netted from that duplex that we ended up putting towards that first laundromat deal. The second one, we raised the second one we brought capital partners on and operations partners, and so we raised like $150,000 for that deal. Most of that was for the renovation of the store, and then we brought in Eastern funding to finance the equipment on that. The third store was small. That was like only 1,000 square feet. It's only got 13 washers and I think 16 dryers. Mm-hmm. So that one we had capital saved up. We went 50-50 partners with one of the guys on the other store. We each put in about $30,000, and then we brought in SBA, and that the equity injection that we had put towards the store to renovate it, they looked at that as a down payment. So essentially we just, that was like how we got into that one. The fourth store, we bought the real estate with that. That deal came from one of the partners on one of the other stores. It was a family friend. They were talking at like a, dinner or something during summertime, like with a family member. That one, so the seller had like a third party appraisal done, like just because he wanted to sell the store and the business, or the real estate and the business. So he had an appraisal done. So he basically was just asking for the value of the real estate, and whatever his appraisal was, which was like $645,000. I think we went and offered him $565. and we landed on 590,000. That was for the real estate and the business. So we basically bought that deal for less than what the real estate was worth. So essentially we got that laundromat for free. Those machines are older, between like 20 and 30 years old. So we're planning to retool that. We did seller financing on that because he didn't have any financials, which is super common. And the bank was kind of pushing us like, listen, if we're funding this much on this deal, we need some financials from the business. We were asking him. He didn't have anything. So we went seller financing route. We put down like 12%, and then he's holding interest only payments for 5 years with the balloon. So we raised capital to put that 12% down to acquire it. The rest of the capital we have raised, which we're going to use towards the renovation. And then the plan is to bring in Eastern funding to do that equipment loan as well. I don't know where I was going with that whole thing, but that's kind of how we financed all those, the combination of everything really, like, and this is all comes from my real estate background. Like I've been studying real estate and buying real estate for, 10 years. And like, that's how I know how I can, structure all this stuff. And like, I have all these little tools in my tool belt, and like, eventually, these deals come up and you just figure out ways to do it. And you got to be creative and, kind of use all your levers that you can and see what banks are willing to do what, and, what buttons you can push to make these things work. So I need a drink of water after that.
Yeah. Well deserved. No, I appreciate you taking us through all that. Cause like I said, I think that's a question that gets asked all the time. And you put it perfectly, right? Is like, you've done the work of accumulating tools, through the real estate stuff. I'm sure you've done a lot of like YouTubing or TikTok and whatever you crazy kids are doing these days to research stuff. And, but a lot of like reading and stuff like that, right? Of learning how to structure deals, how to make deals happen. Right. And there's a lot of ways, it's really easy to get fixated on a particular method. Like, okay, I can only do bank financing, or I can only do Eastern funding, or I can only do seller financing. And the reality of it is that, a lot of deals come together from combining these things creatively. And it's just like, how can we get a win for us to get the deal done? How can we get a win for the seller and do it in a way that, is going to reduce your risk and, set you up for success in the long run. And if you can answer that question, it doesn't matter, right? If you refinance a property to put a down payment, or you partner, or you do seller financing, or you get money from a bank, or you do all those things in one deal. It's getting creative and figuring out ways to make it happen. But I will say that once you have that first deal under your belt, sellers get more apt to lend you money to buy their business, right? Seller financing. Banks feel a little more comfortable about lending you money once you get that first one in there. So not only do more deals open up, but also more options on the financing open up as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think with our last store, that we had already had 3 when the sellers, wanted to give us seller financing. They wouldn't have done that if we hadn't had those other stores. So.
Yeah. And also probably the way that you did them too, right? Like you're not running, you're not the slumlords of laundromats over there, right? You're doing a good job with the business. So he probably has a lot of confidence that you're going to be able to pay him back over the next 3 to 5 years.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say, they want to know that the seller or the lender or whoever's financing wants to feel comfortable with your experience. And if you have operator experience in that specific industry, like they're going to be a lot more, comfortable lending to you versus somebody who's in their first store, So, it definitely lends itself to, buying more deals after you get that first one under your belt, not only from experience, but you can parlay that into, knowledge to talk to people and sellers and lenders and all that.
Yeah. And then with our grand openings, we invite our lenders to come to the grand opening parties of our new stores. We even, other people who are thinking about getting a laundromat, they come and they check it out, and it's really cool. Like the grand opening parties are just really special. Yeah,
we invite the sellers, the landlords. Yeah. We try to get everyone there because, like, the sellers, and you can paint a vision, but like they're not, they can't see it necessarily. Same thing with the lenders. Like some of these lenders just sit there and underwrite deals or whatever, so they're not in the field. So like for them to come out and see your store, I'm like, oh damn, like this thing is detailed. Like they have all this stuff. It's not like a DIY laundromat. Like, that makes them comfortable as well. So then you bring that next deal. Unless it's SBA and they put you through the ringer either way, but it's a different story.
Yeah. With the SBA, I remember overhearing a conversation, and he was like, "Hey, there's a laundromat right next door. Like, why do you guys think you'll be successful? There's literally one. Why wouldn't they just go to that one?" And I'm like, "Have you seen that store?"
Yeah, half the glass is broken out of the freaking washers. Like, yeah. So
yeah.
But
we also try to invite. We also try to invite like the mayor to our grand opening. Get the community involved. And that is so special too, because they come and they see what you're trying to do for the community. And it's really cool.
They post it on Facebook or whatever too. And then people see that and lends itself to the community aspect for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking it's weird because I don't remember ever getting an invite to one of these grand openings. So
I would not advise coming to New Jersey from Hawaii, but I'll definitely send you the invite in the next one.
It is a long way away, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned, and you kind of talked about this. I just wanted to bring it up because again, this is like one of the most common questions I get. I mean, you mentioned, I think it was your third store that's your free store, quote unquote free store. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you just talk about that? I mean, I know you kind of mentioned like how you found it. People are always intrigued by the free store. Everybody wants a free store or free, whatever, anything. Right. So can you talk about just like how that deal come about and how free was it once you're, done with it? Like, are you guys having to put any money into it or is it really free? Just out of curiosity for that.
Yeah, so that one came from our distributor. So the sales guy, the equipment guy that we used for the first two stores, like we had obviously developed a relationship with them. That third store happened to be like less than 10 minutes from the second store. It's a dense area, so 10 minutes is kind of far, but he's like, hey, I have this other store that just came up. It's 10 minutes from the other store. I wanted to give you guys first crack at it. What happened was the building, it was like a small strip center. It had sold, and the old landlord was the one that was operating the laundromat. So when the new landlord bought it, he didn't want anything to do with the laundromat. He's in the restaurant business. So he just closed it down and pretty much sat closed for a year. Mm-hmm. And then the landlord called his broker and was like, hey, put this up for lease. It's a laundromat. I just want to get somebody in who's going to operate the business. So the landlord called the broker. That broker knew the machine distributor. Machine distributor called us and said, hey, there's this store over here. It's close to your other one. I don't think the landlord is asking for like a key fee. He just wants you to sign a lease, basically. So then we drew up an LOI. And we signed a lease. That store, that's the smaller store. So that one's a 13 washer store. We did a full rehab there as well, although the mechanicals were in a lot better shape than the other ones. But we did a full cosmetic rehab. We did our branding in there, and then we put all brand new machines. So essentially, we got the business for free, signed a lease. We spent around $55 or $60K in renovations, and then put in the equipment, which was another $235,000, if I remember. I just made a post about this today, actually. And then we used SBA, and essentially the $60K was our equity injection as our down payment on the SBA loan. And so it was free, but obviously we spent money, we invested money there to get the business up and running and create, what we do.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I wanted to ask that is because I've seen people get themselves in trouble thinking that free is free. And I'm not saying like somebody in theory could have taken that over and probably run that business and like put the sweat in instead of as much equity and not put all new equipment in right away and kind of bootstrap that business. That is possible. But generally speaking, free is not free. I mean, there's nothing free. And I just, I think I have a little bit of a soft spot for that because, typically the people who are searching for a free laundromat, that's like the only way they can get in, right? And so you just need to know that if you're going to go that way, number one, it's probably the riskiest way to bootstrap your way into a free laundromat. But also, there's a lot of costs that come up that you're not aware of that you can get yourself into trouble if you really don't have much money at all. So I just wanted to say that and hear also kind of how you did, like how you took over that free store and ramped it up. So even still, like your capital injection was relatively low on that one, to get it spun up. So.
Yeah, and that was a store. Actually, we were contemplating keeping the machines. It had Wasco mats, and they were probably only 15 years old. But we negotiated with the distributor, like, hey, can you give us a credit for these? And then we figured out, like, based on that credit, does it make sense to redo this whole store or not? And a lot of the washers were smaller, and we always go in and put bigger machines in. Mm-hmm. And so, the numbers just made sense for us to, put all brand new stuff in from the beginning, especially since we had just done that twice. We kind of ran the same play. And this was a smaller store, so it seemed like an easy project, and it was relatively easy to get that one through and up and running. So
yeah, and I love that one's literally 7 minutes down from our second one. So for me, operations wise, it's so easy for me to, hit both of them, relatively fast.
Yeah, that was another thing too. It's like it was close to the other one, so it was like, if we're going to build this brand, we would like to have these little cluster. So it made sense, and we were able to make it work financially. And so, but realistically, if somebody wanted, they probably could have got it for free, signed a lease, cleaned it, tested the machines, fixed whatever was jacked up, and then opened it, and still done pretty well actually, because it wasn't a zombie mat, I wouldn't say. No, the building was built in like the 80s. So the whole structure of the building was nice and mechanicals were nice. Overall, it was like a really solid store, probably the nicest one that we got, in terms of, infrastructure. So, yeah. But yeah, we ran the same play, just kind of keep everything the same. We didn't want to deal with old machines that we would have the issues with, it's like, if we're doing this, let's go all in and, make everything new and see what happens. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Last thing that I think I have that to ask you about, which is not specifically laundromat related, but I'm just curious you guys have been crushing it with the content, which I really appreciate. You guys are sharing a lot of like insightful stuff on the business. Again, go follow these guys. We'll have links in the show notes page, or if you're on YouTube down below. So go follow these guys. But what led you guys to decide, hey, let's do this and let's document it along the way and create content?
I would say just creating like equity, like brand equity for the store, and like building a personal brand, I think is going to be, even more important, for the to like, have like a influence in the future as like a brand and as like a person, especially for some people like us who are entrepreneurial and we're creating these like businesses. Kind of like, just build it, document everything, let people see it, share what we're learning, what we're doing. Deals are going to come from it. Capital partners are going to come from it. And then you're going to help people as well. And you can really inspire, others to take action and change their lives essentially. Cause kind of the same way we found out about laundromats was online. And like, if we hadn't been on Instagram and saw what laundromats, like heard that word really and thought about it as a business, we would have never got into it. And so I think, based on the stuff that we're putting out, we can kind of do the same thing for other people. And I think because of the industry specifically, how many stores there are that are like ripe for a retool, like there's so much opportunity out there. Like I think there's a lot of wealth can be made, from it. And so we try and just share as much as we can. And I think, TV and all that stuff is and you're already seeing it slowly, fade into everyone has their own TV channel on Instagram or TikTok basically, and you have your own following and you monetize that, however you want. But I think it would be foolish not to, have that as part of your business or brand.
Yeah. And I think that the whole thing about just, growing awareness to the industry, I remember in my 20s, I was like, what am I going to invest my money in? Like, what should I do? And I tell everyone that I talk to, I'm like, you should get a laundromat. Like, and just having it all documented to share with people is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome. And I'm super excited. One thing you said was kind of interesting is you're talking about TV, and I've been noticing on my YouTube stats that a larger and larger percentage of my videos are watched on TVs, not on phones, yes, but more and more people are actually watching YouTube on TV.
We do.
So literally having your own TV channel, you know what I mean? Like, so
totally.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, you know, how all this stuff is evolving. And I think that you guys will find, you know, I mean, you guys' channels are already bigger than mine, cause you're doing way more exciting stuff than I'm doing. But if you haven't seen this yet, I think you will find that a lot of opportunities open up just because you're putting yourself out there, you're sharing the good stuff, you're sharing the bad stuff, you're sharing the details. And I think a lot of opportunities will open up for you guys with that too. So kudos to you guys, and hopefully it comes back around for you guys. Any last, well, let me ask you this question. I know I said that was my last one, but let me ask you this other one, before we wrap up.
Absolutely.
Somebody's out there looking to get started. I know you guys offer some like coaching and stuff, consulting, but what's your best piece of advice for somebody looking to get their first laundromat?
Best piece of advice for someone looking to get their first laundromat, I would say find all the local stores in your area within like a 10 or 20 minute drive. Go into those stores and just try and create a friendship with the seller. If there's no one in there working, maybe there's a phone number on the wall somewhere. Yeah. Just touch base with them, make a touch point, and also familiarize with the store. Like, dude, when I first walked into that store, the first store, I was like, I didn't know what was a washer and what was a dryer. And that sounds crazy to me now, but like, that's the reality. Like, a lot of these people will walk in like, I don't know what that machine is. And so just getting yourself familiar so that when you're ready, you kind of know what you're looking at and you can kind of talk the lingo a little bit. And then just watching stuff online. Like, there's a lot, like, I'm back and forth with the phone stuff, because like I get sucked into Instagram for 20 minutes. 20 minutes goes by, I'm like, dude, I just lost 20 minutes. My son's on his iPad. Like, I don't like that stuff. Yeah. But there is a lot you can learn from the internet, and from your phone and from Instagram and TikTok. Like, even one little tip or trick that I could learn from someone else that could change my entire business or change the entire way, like, I do something, like, little thing. You never know what you're going to hear. So I would say just, get familiar with laundromats if you're looking to get into it. And then, I think that's going to really jumpstart your, when you're ready, you'll have a good like base to start from.
Yeah. And like, you have to stay consistent and persistent and stay organized. If you have those three things when you're looking for a deal, you're going to get it.
Can I tell you what I love about these answers? Yeah, that's right. Can I tell you what I love about these answers is, Justin, your answer was all about like finding the deal, wheeling the deal in, and then Ashley's like, stay organized, stay persistent, like total operations over there.
Yeah, organize your apps within your one little square.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, I feel like I got to ask another question. Sorry.
Ask as many as you want. Let's go. We're here for it.
What? And this is for both of you guys, but maybe specifically for you, Ashley, but both of you. What about operation? Like, is there anything you feel like, hey, we're doing this at our stores and it's working, and if you're not doing this at your store, you should be, or you should at least try it? Anything like that you feel like, hey, this could be a win for you in your business?
Yeah. I think that you need to have your store cleaned at least twice a day, every day. So I feel like some stores, they'll just have, like a nighttime clean or a morning clean. And we have that afternoon, I call it like a pickup, where our cleaner comes for a half hour, and they make sure the store is tidy. They check all the machines, like the soap containers, if there's any like clogs or anything to keep up with the machines. And I think that is just, we didn't do that in the beginning. And just to know that it's clean for my morning customers and for my night customers, I just love that. And it makes all the difference, I think, in having that second.
It's also good to have, like, they have eyes on it. So if they see something out of place. But I would say the other things you would want to do is cameras. Like, you want to be able to watch it in real time. And if you can get Laundryworks in your store, like, we're absolutely thrilled with Laundryworks. We could see, all three of our stores that are card now. We can see everything in real time, see who's using what machines. what machines are open, what machines have this or that. The automatic door locks, not having to go there, open and close it. Automatic lights, not having to, go there and turn the lights on. Like, I feel like when we bought the store, the guy was like, yeah, my sister comes here every morning and turns the lights on and unlocks the door and comes back at night and cleans and does this. I'm like, dude, like, yeah, we're not trying to do that. So, do that stuff up front, put that work in, automate it as best you can. Keep it bright, safe, and clean. Keep the machines running. And it's going to be hard to fail.
Yeah, I made a very detailed checklist, like Monday through Sunday, and it has the regular duties, and then it has additional
cleaning
duties. And those additional ones, like, I want it to stay deep cleaned at all times. So that kind of like rotates all the different things to keep it deep cleaned. And I'm very big on the pods that actually clean the insides of the washing machines. Like, no one does that. And it just, it makes your machines last longer. The customers are happy. I tell my customers about that when we do that. Like, hey, we just deep clean all of our washers. We triple rinse them, and people love that.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for our cleaner to fire us, but they haven't fired us yet.
So she probably loves it. They probably love it.
I'm sure she loves the cleaning checklist. That's 12 feet by 4 feet.
I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, to you and me, that's a nightmare. But some people just love cleaning. Like, I don't know. I don't get it, but some people just literally do. I know. Me too. I have a high tolerance for chaos, and so I'll look at something. I'll be like, yeah, it's clean. This, my wife's like, there's a shirt on the floor over there, and this cup is sideways, and I'm like, I don't even see that stuff, So some people do.
And a lot of women are the ones that are doing their laundry, so that you got to cater to their needs.
I know. That's why you got the rocket fuel going over there. Yep. Well, guys, this has been awesome. Thank you for giving us like a peek inside your operation and finding deals and all that stuff. I mean, genuinely, it's because, people like you are willing to come and chat with us, that a lot of people, get the confidence to be able to, buy their first business and venture in and try to make a change in their life and make a difference and leave that W-2 or get that cash flow or find that financial freedom. Like, it's because of that. So I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate all the content you guys are creating. If you guys are out there listening to this or watching this and you want to see, under the hood with some numbers and stuff like that, go follow these guys. They're giving you the real stuff. So again, we'll have all those links for you, but guys, really, really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, man.
So much fun.
Absolutely. Had a blast.
Anytime. You guys are welcome. Anytime.
We'll be back.
Hope you loved that episode with Justin and Ashley. I know you did, because they rocked. These guys are awesome. Make sure you check them out on all their socials and YouTube and all that stuff too, because they're doing some cool stuff. And listen, all of this will be a waste of time unless you go and take some action. So pick something today, take some action, get out there and do it. And let's crush some goals this week. All right. We'll see you next week. Peace.